Hi guys, I'm Kristen. Got Goose here napping. Okay, part 4. Humbling truth about deflection. So pretty much in this same couch, a few years ago I took a phone call, right? And I was hearing this story explained to me. But kind of the funny thing was when it was being explained to me, it was about a mama bear and how we were all to blame and so on and so forth. But as I was being told the story, which affected our entire family, there was another situation a few years earlier, similar, in the sense that I was the mama bear. So as I was hearing this story being told to me, I was like sitting there thinking, oh gosh, that's me, and this is horrible, and wow. So, there were a few years in between the two, right? So for those few years in the situation where I was mama bear, it was all about blame, gossip, drama, no accountability at all. It was a story I told myself, right? I lived there. I lived there until I got this other phone call. I facilitated that story all those years. I kept it going. I was deflecting. Oh boy, I was deflecting. Looking back now, what's so funny is my body actually at the time was telling me that what was in my head and what my body was feeling were kind of in conflict, right? Because I wasn't sleeping, I was in anxiety, I was, of course, worried, stress, kept facilitating the story where I was the victim and I was right. And, it was like fight or flight. It's almost like I was always in fight or flight over that situation. So my body was like showing me that it wasn't matching the story in my head the whole time. What I learned was healing begins with accountability, right? We don't have to be accountable for everything and the entire situation. It's not about that. But we could certainly be accountable for our response, our story, our avoidance. That's a shadow, right? That's a shadow asking to be understood so that we can understand ourselves better. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be afraid of. It needs to be understood. So, yeah, deflection was humbling, right? When that mirror was held up and it was like I was being shown myself through somebody else's behavior, but it immediately made me see myself in a situation that had previously happened very differently. I wanted to be understood. And once I went in and, took a look at that shadow and wasn't afraid of it, there was light in my mirror. There was more peace. I could forgive myself. And my body started to feel better. And it wasn't in constant conflict with my mind. So yeah, it's nothing to be afraid of. We can do this. We owe it to ourselves to do this. And there's a lot of light in the mirror when we take the time to understand our shadows. So let the mirror be held up when you deflect. I learned so much about myself and it was worth it. Yeah, choose. Choose you. You choose. Love and light.